We're going to go to our root content drawer, and here we're going to right click and create a new folder and name this as core. And here we're going to store all of our major files and gameplay systems inside of this core folder. I'm going to move this enumeration into this core folder as well. I'm going to now create a new folder and name this weapon underscore system. Inside of this weapon system, I'm going to go ahead and create a new structure. So I'm going to go and search for a structure and name this S underscore weapons info. We're going to be using this S weapons info for all of our weapons in this game. So let's go ahead and save all, and let's open this up. In the S weapons info, the first thing that we need is our name, and this would be of type name. Actually, we can make it a string. Next variable is going to be named as sk for scalable mesh underscore weapon, and this would be of type scalable mesh object reference. And the next variable is going to be sm, which is static mesh underscore weapon. And this is going to be type static mesh object reference. We're going to also have a portrait. This would be of type texture 2D object reference. We're also going to have a attach underscore socket, and this would be a name. This will define where the actual weapon needs to be attached to, because pistols have their pistol socket and the guns have their gun socket. Maybe in the future we download a free weapon which doesn't really have its origin set up properly, so that we may have to create a new socket and attach that to it. So we're going to add this over here as well. We're going to create a new variable for the anim state. And this would be of our type eAnim states. Now each weapon is going to define what anim state that we need to be. If we don't have any weapon, then our anim state is going to be unarmed. And if a rifle gets equipped, then the rifle needs to tell the game that the current anim state is going to be our rifle. And the next is going to be the weapon type. We're going to use an enumeration for this. So let's go back to our content drawer where we have our weapon system. We're going to go ahead and create a new enumeration. And this would be E underscore weapon types. Open this up. And here we have rifle, pistol, unarmed. And as we add more and more weapons, we're going to come back to this list and then we're going to edit it. Now in our weapons info, I'm going to go ahead and select that E weapons type, E weapon types. Next is going to be weapon damage. And this is going to be of type float. Next is going to be our weapon headshot multiplier. Again, going to be a type float. The next one is optional, but we're also going to add a skeletal mesh for our magazine. So this one's going to be named sm underscore magazine. Now, if you want to have the magazine detached from the gun when you're doing the reload animation, then you would want to have to specify a specific magazine, either a skeletal mesh or a static mesh. Either one will work, but you do need to define it if you want to have the magazine get removed from the gun. If you don't want that, then you can completely skip this one. And I'm going to set this to a static mesh type as an object reference. Now, we're not going to be working on the reload animation and stuff in this video. It's going to be a completely different video. In this video, we're just setting up the structure and the weapon database. And the next variable is going to be our draw animation. So this is the animation that will be played on the character when they equip the weapon. So that would be of type anim montage object reference. And the next one obviously is going to be our put away animation, and that will be a anim montage as well. Now, the reason why we're using anim montage is really efficient when it comes to these one-shot animations, and you want to use a blend space and your anim graph when you have these looping and ongoing animations that you want to play on your character. And that's the reason why we're going to be doing our equip and unequip using a montage, and we have our movement, animation, and everything in our actual anim graph. Next thing that we need is a range for our weapon. Be weapon underscore range. This is how far the weapon can shoot, how far the damage is going to carry over before it kind of fades off or kind of disappears. This is going to be a type float again. Now in this game, we're only going to have one type of magazine per weapon. If you're going to have multiple different type of magazines for the same weapon, then I would create a completely new structure to handle the magazines. But because we only have one magazine, I'm going to create a new variable for the magazine size. Name this magazine size, and this would be of type integer. It's going to be a whole numbers. I think this is a good start for our structure, and we're going to be adding more and more to the structure as we build onto this game. Let's go ahead and save this and close it. Now back in that same weapon system folder, we're going to right click and create a new data table. And this is going to use our S weapons info as the row structure that we just created. And this would be dt underscore weapons info. Open this up and we're going to add in a new row. Now each row, we need to make sure that our row name is properly set up as well. I'm going to set up this row name as assault underscore 01. So I know this is an assault rifle row. Now let's start naming the weapon. So this is going to be an AR4, and the skeletal mesh is going to be a AR4. And because we already have a skeletal mesh, I'm not going to select a static mesh. And the portrait, we're going to take a picture of this weapon momentarily. And the socket that it's going to be connected to is going to be gun. Now in your third person character, this is the gun socket that we created and attached the rifle to, and the pistol is actually attached to a pistol socket. So I'm going to use that gun socket for now. And the anim state is going to be armed rifle. And the weapon type is going to be a rifle as well. For now, the weapon damage is going to be like 10. And the headshot multiplier is 1.5, so it will do like 15 damage. And the magazine, we actually have a AR4 magazine here that we can use. There it is. We'll use the empty mag. It doesn't really matter which mag we use. As for the draw and put away animation, I have already retargeted the equip and also the unequip animations. Now I just need to make them into anim montages. So I'm going to select both of them and then create an anim montage. And then I'm not going to rename it because it will just going to put montage at the end of it anyways. And here I can search for montage and equip. There you are. And then for the put away, I can go montage, unequip. And there it is. Now the weapon range for the AR, we're going to set this to up to like 250 meters, I guess. And then we'll change it as we need. And the mag size is going to be like 32. So it's going to shoot 32 bullets. Then it's going to go ahead and do the reload. And then it's going to go back. Talk about reload. We can actually add in the reload animation. So let's go to our content drawer. Back in our structure, we're going to add in a new variable. And this would be reload underscore animation. And again, this would be of type anim montage. Like I said, anim montage is very efficient when you're playing these one-shot animations. And I do have a reload empty, reload loaded, and stuff like that. So I'm just going to select this reload empty and then create an anim montage and then leave it as such. And then back in my data table, I should now have the option for the anim montage. I'm going to go ahead and select my reload animation, reload empty, and save this. Now let's add a new line for our pistol. So I'm going to click on add, and here the pistol is going to be BLK 55. And the skeletal mesh is going to be BLK. And I don't have a static mesh for this, and then portrait will get it momentarily. And then for the attached socket, I'm going to name this as pistol. And my anim state is going to be armed pistol. And the weapon type is going to be a pistol as well. The weapon damage, I'm going to set it to like 30. And the multiplier is going to be 1.3. We don't really have a magazine for our pistol, which is not a big deal. As for the draw animation, I do have a pistol equip animation that I'm going to create an montage of. And I'm going to use that for my draw and put away. I'll just play the anim montage in reverse, and then this will then put away the weapon. And the weapon range is going to be like 100 meters. Magazine size will be like 10 in a mag. And for the reload animation, I have a pistol reload animation that I can use as well. And let's go ahead and save this. Now this is pretty good for our weapon structure. And as we progress through the game, we're going to add more and more weapons to this list.